If there's one thing that scary movies have taught me, it's that some mysterious noises are better off being left just that, mysteries. Henry McDaniels of Enfield, Illinois learned that in 1973 when he came across a strange being known only as the Enfield Horror. The story of the Enfield Horror began on April 25, 1973 at 9:30 p.m. when Henry McDaniel's children told him that something that they hadn't yet identified was scratching on the door to their house. McDaniel went to investigate and saw something that seemed to defy all explanation. In his words, it had 3 legs on it, a short body, 2 little short arms, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights. It stood 4.5 feet tall and was grayish colored. He would later go on to include that what he saw was almost like a human body. Understandably, he proceeded to rush inside to grab his flashlight and firearm before going back out and proceeding to shoot at the creature 4 times, with at least one of the shots finding their target. In response to this, the unidentified entity fled the scene, disappearing into the night. When law enforcement arrived, they did find evidence that something had been there, finding scratch marks along the side of the house and multiple 4-inch wide footprints with 6 toes on each foot. Despite the physical evidence that they saw, police were still skeptical. Then, on May 6th, McDaniels was woken up at 3 a.m. by his neighbor's dogs. He went to investigate when he saw the creature again, this time sitting on some train tracks. Evidently, whatever he was seeing didn't hold what had happened during their previous meeting against McDaniels, and merely moved along the railroad tracks without acknowledging his presence. McDaniels went to the media about his experiences, leading to the creature gaining widespread attention in the name of the Enfield Horror. Following this, a local radio news reporter named Rick Rainbow, who claimed to see the creature in an abandoned building near the other 2 sightings, and like McDaniels, reported that he opened fire before what he witnessed fled the scene. More sightings of the Enfield Horror would follow, leading people to flock to the small town with their firearms in hope of bringing back one of the most unique hunting trophies of all time. Eventually, the influx of armed tourists became enough of a problem that the sheriff had to arrest multiple men for hunting violations, and despite their best efforts, the Enfield Horror was ultimately never found. As far as what the Enfield Horror actually was, McDaniels always insisted that the entity he encountered was from another planet, and that if it were ever to be found, it wouldn't be the only one of its kind. The creature he described is certainly bizarre. I don't think anybody will try and dispute that. It's unknown whether or not McDaniels' 2 sightings were of the exact same creature, and the fact that the second encounter described something that behaved very differently from what he saw the first time means that it's not out of the question that there was, or is, more than one of these things out there. Not a very comforting thought, to say the very least. So, do you believe in the Enfield Horror? Let me know in the comment section below.